Welcome Tenno. This is TennoFrame007 and welcome to an Afentis build. The Afentis, the newly released spear gun with Stynax. Most people will have Stynax thanks to the free giveaway, available through the 21st of September 2022. The Afentis is available in the Veilbreaker version of the game, or Veilbreaker quest and activities. This is the Afentis, rank 30, and it's got no forma. Comes with 2 V polarities and 1 dash. I like to use it for a critical delay, but as you can notice, its fire rate is very slow. Even if we don't have a critical delay, it only brings it up to an 0.8330 fire rate. So I like the critical delay because that keeps our crit chance very high. This is our first build, the one I like to use. This one focuses almost purely on crit damage. We've got Hammer Shot in here for that little bit of extra crit. As you can see, even with only 2 60/60 mods and the additional status from Hammer Shot, we've got a nice 72% status chance on the Afentis. So it's a hybrid spear gun. And we've already got our 78% crit chance using critical delay. The other build is you can go point strike, and it'll give you slightly less crit chance, but it'll keep your fire rate up if you like that. At that point, because we're not using critical delay, we don't have enough space unless you want to start formatting the weapon. So I put in infected clip into this dash polarity, which means you get a little bit more base damage, but your crit chance, your status chance, and your crit multipliers aren't going to be as high. So if you want the slightly faster attack speed per fire rate, this is what I would recommend, but mostly I recommend this because of the secondary effect on the Afentis, which is the best Ballistari Might. You're already increasing reload speed and your fire rate, which is going to offset most of the negative from critical delay. And you're going to reduce recoil. Recoil isn't as bad on this weapon just because of the slow fire rate. And so pretty much always going to want to have this up. It's a 40-second buff duration if you kill someone while in the Ballistari Might area. So that's what I'll go show. I'm using Stynax for this just because the Afentis released with him. This is pretty much what most people are, or what people are going to use, just because, hey, he was using this in the promos. This is what he released with. So this is the build I'm using for him at this moment. Max out our duration. We don't really care about our range. We have a stretch in there just to offset most of narrow-minded, solely for the explosion range on our javelins here. If you don't care about the explosion range, get rid of stretch, put on something like flow. Flow is good simply to increase your maximum pool of energy, so that way you keep rally point up and the negative from blind rage doesn't hurt as much. Here you would be using sure-footed or primed sure-footed because the Afentis does have a small explosion, so don't fire this kind of like close quarters, but the explosion range isn't too large, so if you can get away without using prime sure-footed, do it. But this is my build. Obviously we use him because of his passive. We double that crit chance. So with that, we're going to go and Kubo Fortress to Ving. Yes, I know all y'all want to see, you know, Steel Path, survivals, and all that jazz. I don't have Steel Path. So we're here on pretty much one of the higher places you can get simply by playing the game.
Scans show Grenier are harvesting Kuva. Set off the alarms and draw them out, then steal Kuva catalysts. Predictable. As expected,
As you can see,
Grenier have shut
got
down the
the
environmental
slight delay on the explosion, so you can fire it and have it not explode
to begin harvesting.
immediately. So, going to best out of the night, we use the alternate fire metal clip, and as you can see, the buff isn't incredibly fast, but it is something. And in the top right, you can see it counting down from 40. You can go in and out of the Vestari Night area, and if you re-enter it, it'll refresh your duration to the maximum 40 seconds. So, kind of just stay within the area. It's not hard to stay in. You can throw it as a weapon
Life support
and
on the
hit somebody with it. I don't recommend that, but if you want to, you can.
I've delivered a life support capsule to the area. Activating it will take more time.
Obviously, since this is a crit weapon, you're going to be wanting to try and hit headshots all the time. Especially with the update, giving the headshot multiplier up to a ×3 rather than ×2 on precision weapons. And as Stynax, you can always do that to get rid of pretty much anybody you want to. Especially on Grenier, where slash box just do true damage.
Get ready for a capsule.
But as you can tell, especially without something like Punch Through, you kind of struggle against groups. So, I guess try and find something that compensates for it. Possibly Mirage, especially with her, Hall of Mirrors. You won't be hitting orange crits as often, as you can tell from what we're hitting here. It's not as often, but you can tell that when they hit, they really do chunk. Or, you can try and get something that does area denial, like I have on my Carrier Prime. This is actually its first go-round for doing something like this. So I'm surprised it's doing as well as it is. So, for the Afentis, you can see that it does have punch through on the javelins. So if we were facing Steel Pad and we were hitting all those larger enemy spawn groups at your 200% and all that, then the javelins would start going through like 2 or 3 people almost every shot. And when our fire rate starts getting a bit too low, we'll just throw out the Starry Night again. Valid Starry Night. Because not only does it put our fire rate back up again, it also increases our reload speed. So we can see it shaves off like a couple of tenths of a second, which is always nice. As for whether or not this would be good against acolytes, that's an up to you kind of thing.
The raid to a
If you
successful start.
think
When you are
crit
ready,
will
go
be good,
to extraction.
and especially since this doesn't, you know, stack statuses, then, you know, it'll be perfectly fine. As you can see, we didn't particularly struggle there, so if you start, you know, pumping your arcanes using galvanized shot, or galvanized barrel for your additional multi-shot, this can easily start doing steel path. So don't worry about this not scaling if you decided to buy it for plat when you got Stynax, just to, you know, have the whole Spartan experience. This will, you know, scale with you till the end game. The only thing you do have to watch out for, like I've been saying, is just your fire rate, because especially against groups of targets, unless you can really start lining them up like we have in corridors of the Kuba Fortress where you saw me start, you can't really deal with groups of enemies thanks to the fire rate. So obviously getting AoE denial, Mirage is good, things of that nature. I use Carrier Prime on Stynax simply due to the fact that this fixes his ammo problems with the Afentis, because the Afentis only has an ammo max of 16 when it's normally here. So I like to use Carrier Prime with the ammo case to put that up to a 20 plus whatever's in his ammo mag. Because without it, it only has your 4 in your mag and 16 in your ammo case. So you can find yourself running into ammo problems. So I like to use Carrier Prime, so that way I don't have to waste the augment slot on primed ammo mutation. And you can put a terminal velocity on there for the projectile speed. But as for Carrier Prime, you can use this as your group AoE denial to make enemies stop firing at you, especially with this heat proc. I used Hellstrom because I saw micro missiles and I was like, that sounds fun. So we just mod this for as much fire rate and reload speed as possible. For here, you put Vigilante Fervor, and that'll increase your fire rate even more, especially since you don't need the extra heat damage or magazine capacity on your Carrier Prime for the Hellstrom. So we use split chambers solely for the multi-shot. I would recommend swapping this out for Vigilante armaments, especially if you want to, like, just make the most out of the Afentis and all of its crits, so that way you have the combined 10% chance to upgrade your crits through the Vigilante side. We use fast hands just to bring this reload down from, I believe it's a 2-second cooldown. So we use that, and each missile has an 84% status chance. You could, if you have this, if you don't care about this reload speed, I would put Fulmination here just to try and hit as many things as possible, and then swap out this for your Vigilante Fervor. That would get you one of the better AoE denial builds, or if you're just trying to use a Sentinel. You can use something like the Cryatra, which is just an upgraded version of the Artax if you already like that, because as you can see, we've got a lot more status chance here. Slightly more crit chance, but really all we care about is status chance, especially on all of our Sentinels, because they're just here to proc viral and heat. Viral to increase our damage, heat for CC. But that's the builds. If you like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and and I will see you all next time.